So it's gonna be a good time. I'm trying to keep them going, keep us like moving. So it's gonna be a couple of more events coming up. I will reach out to you guys and give you guys flyers. And last but not least, Councilmember Millie is supporting COPA. I don't know what you guys know about COPA right now, but you guys should look into it, especially if you're homeowners. I'm gonna leave a flyer over on the side that you guys can grab. If you need any information, you can call into the office. It's something she feels strongly about right now, and so if you need any help, reach out. The bill has not been passed yet, but it's looking on being passed, so I will look into it, especially if I'm a homeowner. Thank you, guys. Okay, so I don't wanna chop and screw it. So basically what I do understand from it, because like, I literally just got everything to say. When you guys decide that I know that one issue that is like big, that they've been talking about is when you guys decide that you guys want to sell your home, they're gonna say that you guys can only sell it to like nonprofits and entities like that. There's a whole bunch of different rules and regulations that they have for the homeowners now that you guys should really look into. You know what I find crazy? A lot of people don't show up to the city hall meetings and different things like that, and you guys really should, because there's a lot, like she said, there's a lot of bills and different things being passed that if you guys don't show up, you won't know. There's things going on in housing that if you don't show up, you won't know. All right, citycouncil.com. You go on the website. It tells you when every meeting is coming up. If you hit the meeting and hit agenda, it tells you what they will be talking about in the meeting and what it will be covering. You can sign up to give testimonies at some of these hearings. So you guys should look into it because you guys can have a voice. It's just that, a lot of people don't know. Okay? And you can call into the office and ask out too. Our phone number is 718-953-3097. If you guys don't say something, then, that's like giving a vote on things, period. All right, guys.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to leave all the flyers over there and information on everything.
Okay, everyone. And with that, we have, that was the final acknowledgement. I want to thank again all the elected officials for the work and partnership all year. And we look forward to a very, very productive 2026 as we go forward as well. Thank you. All right. And that completes the business session. The public session, I'm sorry. We are now going to go to the business. I'm jumping in. We are now going to go into the business session. At this time, I would ask Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Abdul Mahabir. Nicholas Amanar. Fred Baptiste.
Present.
Solan Benjamin. Solan Benjamin. Kat Buchanan. Joanna Carr. Suki Chung. Kendall Christensen. Eve Cohen. Saul Carey. Here and present. Matt Davison.
Present.
Brittany Ellington. Brittany Ellington. Lisa Etienne. Present. Madame Gabois. Madame Gabois. Bishop Gonzalez. Shana Hartley.
Present.
Rob Herbert, Drew Johnston, Waldley Joseph, Renisha Labare, Maina Legote,
Present.
Francisca Leopold, Christian LeBoy, Andrew Magnus, Letwin Lovina, Marcia Maxwell, Vanna Mears, Vanna, Rohan Mion, Lati Buchin,
Present.
Ethan Narva, Denzel Adoro, Isaiah Pickle,
Present.
Hassan Chrissy, Vanessa,
Present.
Felice Robertson, Benny Rosenberger,
Present.
Melissa Severe, Emily Smith, Bakari Tandia, Joshua Thomas Serrano, Abigail Tim,
Present.
Debbie Timothy, Twyla Weir, Linda Watson Lord, that's me, Dawn Welters, here. Teresa Masterdahl, Dawn Williams, Lorianne Wilsley, correction, Joyce Williams.
Here.
Lorianne Wilsley, Steve Zelter.
All right, while the secretary tallies, are there any members who did not hear their name called?
Good evening, Kenyatta Lusoi.
You a member of the board or on a committee?
Oh, I just signed that paper. This is like my second. Sorry if I'm in the wrong.
No, no worries. All right, so if you want to be a member, sign.
Right, she did too.
We'll talk about that in a minute as well. All right, no other members, everyone heard their name called, or everyone else heard their name called, correct? Okay. So we're just gonna take one moment.
You forgot a quorum, sir. 31 members present, 18 members not. In the,
All right, for the record, we have Vonda Joseph has arrived as well. So for the attendance, Madam Secretary, 32 members present, we have a quorum. Thank you very much. For December meeting, that's great. Thank you very much for coming out. All right, we are now going to go to, well, actually, now that we've established quorum, I do want to bring one action item to the board to amend the agenda. I just want to add an item C to the voting session for removals. We have 3 members who have excessive absences and after repeated attempts to contact them, they have not responded. So in fairness to the board, we want to make sure that we're able to take further action in terms of extending the recommendation for all. So is there any objection to that amendment to the agenda? Okay. We'll get to that in such more rounds. All right, hearing no objection, that is now added, so there is an item C. All right, thank you very much. We are now going to go to item 2 on this, the approval of the November 2025 General Board meeting minutes. Have members had an opportunity to review? At this time, I'll call. Are there any corrections to be made to the minutes of November? Call for a second time. Are there any corrections to be made to the November minutes? Hearing no objection. Is there any objection to adopting the minutes by common consent? Common consent. Is there any objection to the minutes? Okay, hearing no objection. Okay, I'm sorry. So coming back to Madam Secretary, please note that minutes are adopted by common consent. All right, we are going to forego item number 3 as we heard committee report. We heard committee reports during the business session, so we're going to move on. We're going to go to item 4, the district manager's report.
All right, good evening, everyone. All right, Eastern Parkway Library had a closure back in November. Some of those library services have moved over to the Crown Heights Library branch. Once we get a list of the services that are relocating, we'll be sure to put that in the e-blast. As you heard earlier, community board applications are live. February 6th is the deadline, and they are not extending it. You can go onto the CP9 website. Our news tab has both the paper and the online application. The Metro card is expiring at the end of this year. You will no longer be able to load funds onto the traditional Metro card. If you've been on the train, they definitely have been advertising this, so please share the information. The CEC is the people's money, is the citywide participatory budgeting process where New Yorkers can decide how part of the city's budget is spent to help communities thrive. They are taking submissions. I definitely want to encourage people to submit ideas. Oftentimes they get funded. The elevators will be out of service at the Prospect Park Station, the Q and the B, and Utica 3 and 4 stations for approximately 8 months for ADA accessibility upgrades. I've reached out to the MTA to inquire about a shuttle schedule, so once I receive that, I'll be sure to add that to the e-blast. The Department of Transportation completed a requested study, and they have approved a traffic signal at the intersection of Classen and Union Street, and the installation of that is expected to take up to 6 months. The Department of Housing Preservation and Development and the Department of Buildings are having 2 hearings coming up very quickly. The Department of Buildings is on the 11th, actually I guess that was today. So HPD's is tomorrow. If you want this information, we'll just reach out to the office in the morning and we can get it to you. But the hearings are essentially to let me just kind of read through this quickly. Basement and cellar residences. So it's basically for basement and cellar residences. So if that applies to you, please reach out to the board office, especially if you're a homeowner, and we will get you the hearing information. The Department of Sanitation is proposing to amend a rule governing the time for placing solid waste and recyclables materials out at the curb for collection for those that receive collection on Saturdays in community boards that choose to opt into this alternative schedule. The public hearing will take place via Microsoft Teams January 7th, 9 a.m. We'll be sure to have that information in the e-blast as well. Just a little bit of administrative items. You've heard some of the elected officials. We have received a lot of holiday blasts, drives, folks looking for food, clothes, etc. All in our e-blast. Please check it out and share that information accordingly. We get a lot of people coming into the board office looking for a notary republic. There's a public list of this. I downloaded it, and now it's readily available in our office. So if folks need a notary republic, they can come to our office and we can give them a public list. There was a request to disseminate the parliamentary procedure training that took place on November 18th. I requested that recording from the CEC, and once I get that, that'll go on our YouTube. The January meeting, the general board meeting, will be held at 990 Washington Avenue, the Brooklyn Botanic Garden. So our general board meeting will be at PBG in January. That's all from my report. The one thing I just wanted to add is, someone mentioned earlier, how do we get more people in the room? We have to talk to each other. I think that everyone knows when you wake up and you go to work, you put your headphones in, now your headphones are in, you're at work, you do your work, you come back home, your headphones are in. It's hard to talk to people these days, right? You all are neighbors. You claim to be, I hope you are. You know your neighbors. Bring them to the meetings. Bring one to the meeting, and then tell that person to bring one. You don't have to do all the work yourself. If one person brings one, this room will be filled up pretty quickly, all right? We have an e-blast. We've condensed it to make the information, I think, a little bit more digestible. You can click on different tabs to get presentations, all the information that we provide. So please continue to connect people with us. If you know they have internet, they have email, we can get them information about what's happening in the district pretty quickly with the e-blast.
Can I ask one question?
Well, sure, hold on. Are you completed? Are you completed with the report? Okay. Questions for the district managers? Just in hands, we'll just get a quick speakers list and then we're going to close the list. So Ms. Stone, we have you on the list. Anyone else? Mr. Christensen, we have you. Kat? One second. Kat, we have you as well. The boss on the other hand. Does somebody else have a question? Mr. Walter, right? All right, so I have Ms. Bowen, Mr. Christensen, Capicello, Walters. Anyone else? Yes, for the district manager's report. All right, we're going to close on that. Go ahead, Ms. Bowen.
So I just have two questions. The Schenectady Library, they have posted that they have a bookmobile on Union Street, which I have never seen. Is that fact? Did it happen? Is it not happening? Because I'm supposed to return, and then every day I go to look for this mobile that hasn't arrived yet. So that's the first question. Thank you. And then one other thing. Does the Community Board 9 in and of itself vote for the garbage, the Department of Sanitation putting out garbage earlier besides the meeting in City Hall? Do we vote separately among ourselves of whether we agree with it as a community?
Well, you most certainly can go to the hearing as just you with your own personal opinion, but it also gives an opportunity, this is why I'm bringing it before the board. So in the event in January, you can meet, maybe there's a resolution that can kind of come from one of the committees, and then we can kind of move a letter accordingly to make sure that we get something on record from the board for that hearing. But that's left up to you all.
Okay.
Oh, and then the bookmobile, I will check into that. Thank you for bringing that.
Thank you very much. Member Christensen.
Thank you. In fact, for that question, the rule that's as drafted that's going to be heard in the first week in January would allow for community boards to request waivers from the 8 o'clock set-out requirement on Friday evenings. There were parts of the districts that get Saturday morning collection. So as you know, when that rule was put into effect over the last year or so, it created a hardship for certain neighborhoods to that particularly for the conflict with Shabbat. So the rule as proposed would allow for set out, I think it's 1 or 2 hours prior to sundown. And so if that rule is adopted, which would probably be in March or so of next year, then we can come back to the board, to the committee, and make a request for a waiver for that accommodation.
So then your committee meeting.
I expect so. We'll work it through the executive committee as to how we handle that. Yes.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sullivan? Yeah.
To coincide with the question you had asked about how do we get the word out, when I was a business owner in the neighborhood, what I used to do, and I still do, is I went to social media and I posted something as like a give back to anyone who was a patron of the establishment, to just encourage more to come out. We understand that this is volunteer, but I do also coincide with the statement of all of us doing our part. So whether it's we're at our favorite library and we're dropping off flyers, we're at our gym and we're dropping off flyers, we're asking our favorite business owners if we could leave flyers, like all of us doing our part and what our part looks like. Even if you're taking it to social media, I've had about 3 people from social media actually show up to meetings in the past, which yeah, may not sound like a big number, but it makes a difference to start putting it out there. So I didn't really have a question, but I just wanted to coincide with that comment.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wilson?
I just had a quick question regarding the renovation, what's happening on Classen Ave and Union. Do you know when construction or the beginning of that project is?
They only put that it's expected to take up to 6 months for installation, but I'm more than happy to reach back out to DOT to ask for a clarified timeline of when installation will take place.
Thank you.
All right. That exhausts the speakers list.
I'll be super quick, Fred.
All right.
No, I'm doing something nice, actually.
Go ahead.
It's like a 20% chance that I get this offer. So I help people with their community board applications for a nonprofit I volunteer for. So if you have a friend or someone who wants to look at their application, which is doing very, very happy to take a look at it. So if someone who knows the industry needs a second pair of eyes, I'm happy to give a second pair of eyes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, all right, so that completes the district manager's report. We are now going to go on to the chairman's report. My report is going to be very brief this evening. I just have a couple of items I wanted to bring to the board's attention. And also, I wanted to just call attention as well for the treasurer's report. The treasurer's report is included as part of the package for informational purposes. There are no irregular activities. Most of the expenses you are going to see in terms of what the changes in the budget are operational expenses from the board. I think a couple of nominal figures that we had approved as a board as well, in support of a couple of the activities we have done. All right, and I'm glad that, perhaps this is fortuitous that Max offered his services. The first item I wanted to talk about was community board applications. We are at that time of the year, at this point, where if you are a member on the board, if you wish to continue your tenure, you should have already received communication from the borough president's office. Please make sure you follow that and make sure you submit by the deadline in February. There will be no extensions. So our understanding that's been repeated with the borough president's office. There will be no extensions. If you are not sure, please make sure you check with the district office. They can confirm whether your term is expiring and you need to reapply, or if you're good until the next cycle. This is important as well because we need to keep an eye in terms of term limits are coming. So we do want people to make sure if you're going to stay, or also just be mindful of the fact that some of our members are going to be term limited and will be coming off the board in the next cycle or two. All right. We've been talking about it. I want to say one of the things I'm very proud of this board is I think that we're making progress in terms of the way our meetings have been conducted. We're trying to get better. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is, one, looking at how meetings are conducted, making them efficient, making them effective, being respectful of time. So part of what we'll be doing as we go into 2026 is looking at our operations and taking suggestions in terms of are we at the structure that's the most effective. Part of that I would ask for the board to consider is even the amount of standing committees, if they are the correct balance, if we should be changing them, if we should create new committees, if we should combining committees, or if there are areas that we should be looking at in terms of making sure we have the standing committees and we're having the appropriate conversations. So that'll be something that'll be coming up in 2026. Additionally, just so everyone understands as well, so one of the requirements, well, actually, the open meetings law governs how community boards are run, governs how, it governs quorum, it governs how we, our requirements for video conferencing, for a number of other things. There were changes to the open meetings law that were done a few years ago. They are set to expire at the end of this fiscal year. So part of what we are looking to do, I'm working with a number of other chairs in the Brooklyn Borough Board, is to create a number of suggestions in terms of how we can improve with an outlook in terms of looking at where, when and where it's appropriate for us to do virtual meetings, what circumstances, making sure that we're able to, what we can do to make sure that accessibility, we can encourage accessibility, and a number of those things as well. So I want a working group with the Brooklyn Borough Board. So if you have any suggestions or recommendations, please make sure to get those to me. As we're working, I'm going to be sharing that as well with the board, so that we can hopefully come to a better way of making sure that we're able to operate in the 21st century. I'm always very, very, I think the pandemic taught us a number of lessons in terms of we are able to utilize technology, we can work virtually, but we want to make sure that we're able to do this in a way that makes the most sense for the community and encourage participation as well. Lastly, and this goes into the item C that I asked for to be added, this goes to attendance. So I'm very, very encouraged. November and December in Community Board 9 has typically been the most horrendous in terms of with the holidays, people don't show. So to hear that we have 30 plus members coming out, I really just want to say thank you and I commend the board for taking this commitment seriously. And in that vein, that is why it is also important, this is probably the harder part of the job in terms of making sure we're holding members accountable, but they're not showing up. If they're not coming to community board meetings, if they are not coming to committee meetings, because it does affect, we miss those voices, and also it prevents other people who may want to take those spots from being able to participate and contribute in that way. So the board office has compiled a list of members who have with excessive delinquency with respect to attendance, and we have 3 names this evening that we are asking for the board to consider a motion to have be removed from the board at this point for substantial non-attendance. So we are submitting the names of Twyla Ware, of Emily Smith, and of Brittany Ellington for removal from the board. This will be considered as a package. In the case of Ms. Ware, she was sent a notification where she had attended less than 38% of the scheduled board meetings and committee meetings from the period of February 2025 to November 2025, including the last 3 board meetings consecutively. So she was sent, hold on, let me just continue on. For Ms. Smith, has not attended any of the scheduled board meetings for the period from May 2025 to November 2025. And lastly, Ms. Ellington has appeared none of the meetings, scheduled board meetings for the period of September 2024 to 2025. Again, this is something that I do, I take no pleasure in. I'm very, very sad to have to take this motion, but it's also in the best interest of the board where we make sure that those spots are open so that members of the community who would like to take that responsibility have that space and that opportunity, and that we're able to maintain quorum, which is important to them when we can do business. So those letters were sent out on multiple occasions. The board also, the district office also conducted welfare checks, just to ensure that members are okay, because that's important as well, because we understand life happens. And they were not responsive to those welfare checks as well. So we are at this point that we are recommending these actions. At this time, I would ask if the district manager, do you have any other information you wish to provide to the board at this time?
No, I'll quickly say we have emailed, called, even sent postal mail to no response. All right, so we're at that juncture.
All right, thank you very much for that. All right, so that concludes the report. Again, so that's the one action item I have to report. We'll consider that during the work session. I will take questions at this time, if any questions on my report. Okay, hearing none, I thank him, oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't get the name of the last person who said it.
It was Brittany Ellington.
Brittany Ellis.
Brittany Ellington. Okay. Yes.
So as part of the review into operations, that's going to cover a review of bylaws, correct?
It could, yes, it could. Depending, if we're doing, especially if we're doing structural changes like changing committees, that would require a review of bylaws. So that's fair game as well, in terms of if there are things that we need to revise. Of course, with the caveat that we always have to make sure that our bylaws are aligned with the city charter and all the other applicable rules and statutes that go. Thank you very much. Okay, so at this time, we are now going to go into the voting session. We are now going to consider item A, the BSA application for base, I apologize if I did the pronunciation, base Chaya. Yes.
I just want to.
No, but oral this month, just oral this month. If there's going to be a written report. Really, I didn't have intend to give a report, this is just more updates in terms of what's going on, but I can make a notation, we'll make sure that's. Understood. Okay, we can make that available. I'm sorry, Ms. Gold.
Yeah, as we go into the voting session, I just want to comment that I am on the opposite side.
Can you start again? Yes. We didn't hear you.
I'm sorry. We're going into the voting session, and I live up on the opposite side of Beis Chaim Mushka, which is a school that's going now to be voted on. I'm a little bit surprised that I didn't receive any notification that this was happening as a block. We didn't receive it. I don't have really a lot of opposition per se, but there is an alleyway between the school and the residents that live on President Street. And when school is let out, or when the school starts in the morning, there isn't any real parking. There isn't really a specific area for drop-off and pickup. And so what ends up happening is the cars end up blocking the alleyway completely, and there's no way in or out of your house. So I really would like to put in a stipulation that if we can have another 3 floors going up, that means all those parents that are coming and dropping off their kids or picking up their kids that are going to have an attitude when I come up and say, come out and say, does anyone know who this car belongs to? Because I need to go to work and there's no one around, there's no one, or I get attitude, and there's going to be now another 3 floors of that. So I have nothing against the school per se, as I will repeat, but I do think that there needs to be a certain responsibility of the school of how the pickup and the drop-off is going to be and how they're going to be concerned about the residents and the neighbors that live in the neighborhood, especially since I didn't receive any kind of flyer indicating that this was happening, and I don't think any of my neighbors close by received it, or we would have discussed it.
All right, no, thank you for that. Well, actually, I'll tell you what, let's just do this. Let's actually open into the item. We'll take that commentary. The one thing I would say as well is we do have the rabbi who's here, so we're going to take that, and that's a communication that's a conversation we can have in terms of making sure we can mitigate this, to the best extent possible. So absolutely, we'll be able to take into that. But let's go into the actual item. So it was introduced previously. I would invite the chair. Is there any final comment?
I would be willing.
Can you use the microphone, please?
Yes, so I would be willing to amend our recommendation to add the comment. There's a space on the BSA recommendation form for comments or contingencies. I'd be willing to change our recommendation to a contingent recommendation to ask that the school, what specifically we want to say, that the alleyway be kept open so that residents of President Street
Can come in from their home.
can come in over there.
The only thing, I'm probably gonna find that out of order because I'm not sure if that's appropriate for, this is a zoning question as opposed to the street, the safety part of it, the parking, which will probably be governed under something else.
No,
But I
no,
think-
no, that's, the BSA does take that kind of thing into it. I mean, this kind of, they do get that granular and specific when they talk out. So it's not wrong. And I do believe the school had a traffic traffic pickup and drop-off management plan as well. So, I mean, Rabbi, I don't know if that's something that we're prepared to address, but it seems reasonable to me to make that a contingent recommendation.
Okay. Oh, Rabbi,
I'm ready to speak with you.
sure. Rabbi.
Rather surprising to hear that tonight at community board meeting. We live right around the block. We have a phone number, we have office, and neighbors constantly come to us with any things they want to share with us. And you're welcome to come. You could have come till now, but now that it was raised publicly at this last minute here, I do want to point out, as the community chair pointed out, there is a traffic plan in place, which is definitely going to be addressing. It's one of the key areas that the chair pointed out the BSA looks into. And they did require, and there's a very extensive traffic plan included that's going to be reviewed by the BSA, and that takes into account parking and drop-off and pickup and all that. We don't need to wait for that. Now that we heard the concern tonight, we have security guards outside by arrival and dismissal, and we can ask them to do their part to make sure that nobody locks the driveway. It's a very simple request and very easy to accommodate. I'm just disappointed that people have to put up with this till now. We're not aware of it. We have some neighbors here. I'm a neighbor. I live on the block. I share the alley. And none of my neighbors on Carroll Street side have ever mentioned anything like that, but if it's mentioned now, we can deal with it. It's not a big deal. Thank you for bringing it up.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so we do have the item open. We'll take the speakers list on the item right now. It's removed, as it's been, recommendation has been passed by the committee. It's on the floor right now. Questions on the application, we'll take it right now. So, Etienne, I see you. Are there any other questions from board members with regards to the application? Okay, any other? Okay, so we have first vice chair, second vice chair. Any other questions from board members regarding the application? Let's go. So let's proceed. Okay, so. Any other questions? There are no late flags today. Once I close this list, I'm closing the list. I have. Oh yeah, I have Etienne, I have Norville, Robertson, Westendall, Lucella. Did I not call your name? List is now closed. Etienne.
Thanks, Fred. I actually have two short questions. How long is the construction supposed to take? What's the anticipated timeline? I didn't notice that in the documentation. And it didn't see exactly what hours that the construction will be taking place. It says something about doing most of the construction off hours. What does that mean? Construction during the night or what?
Generally, the building department has permit hours, which are regular hours, I believe it's from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. They do allow some, there is permits for overnight when it's without noise, so there's limits, and we probably won't have to do much of that because most of the work will be noise and it will be during the daytime. The construction time is expected to be about a year. Is there another question? I think those are the two items that were asked.
Were your questions answered?
A year, and the timing is from 8, the timing is a year, and the timing of the construction during the day is from what time?
The regular building department times are, I believe, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. It can be verified, but we will be following regular building department hours, except for, there's already for overnight, or nights and weekends, extended permits, which are only allowed for work that does not have machinery or noise that can disturb the neighbors.
So basically something like internal.
Wiring, things like that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, first vice chair. Much mistake. Okay.
I think that there is a traffic plan, but what is it? Is there any idea what that plan's gonna look like?
Yeah, there's going to be staggered arrival times for different buses and different age divisions, so we're not everybody coming at the same time, and the same as with the pickup at the end of the day. That's it in a nutshell.
Suggestion, is there a set parameter for this showing that she's giving us, the space where she can enter and exit? Because that was the concern. Is there a set parameter where there is space allotted for this person that's speaking on the space regarding going in and out of your area? That's my question.
Yeah, I understand the question, I just don't know how to answer it, because the space you're referring to is an alleyway which is beyond our property line and beyond the property line of our neighbor. So our building ends, and then there's a 20-foot lot that's privately owned by another entity, and then after that is an alleyway, which is accessible from Troy Avenue, and it crosses through all the way to Albany Avenue. So it's not something that's directly under our control, but it's something that we could try to mitigate and avoid by the staggered plan, so there won't be this too many vehicles that would spill over and extend beyond anywhere near the NAV. Usually parents that need to drop off, we have people at the door and they could just get their kids. It's very unusual. I'm very surprised by this comment, but we're going to look into it. I'm out there myself a lot many of the times. Parents don't usually park their way up and then walk all the way back out with their kids. So it really shouldn't be something that we need to be too concerned about. I believe we could address it simply and easily.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Westervelt.
Yeah, I sit on the Youth Committee, and I just want to know that the applicant came before us with quite a large entourage group of people that testified, and we asked for more community input for a second time, and to make sure they had addressed it with the neighbors and the apartment building tenants. And it seems like they did incredible due diligence, and they did hang posters, and they did contact people, and anybody that had a concern expressed within the Yearlip Committee. They did a stellar job, which we would like to see from other applicants going forward. They set an example that we would like to see repeated. The photos of where they hung the posters, neighbors came and testified, people including the tenants, which was important to us to hear, not just from homeowners, but tenants in the apartment building next door as well. So they did a good job. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
Thank you, appreciate it. May I just say, comment on that? It wasn't mentioned before, but there was one recommendation at the committee meeting to actually put into the BSA recommendation letter this comment of the great job of diligence that we did, and to use that as a precedent for future applications, that they should follow our example. So I'd like to publicly point that out to make sure that everybody's aware that we really did, as was just said, we did do great due diligence and we're setting a precedent. So we'd like to take credit for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we have last comment, last question from our member of Orange.
I understand what you're saying.
I understand what you're saying about it being a good job, but not trying to play devil's advocate. You also did mention that a lot of those that came in support were parents of students in the school, so it does seem a little bit biased. So if we do hear that there's those that weren't aware of it, yes, due diligence could have been done, but it seems like due diligence was more so done by those that are in support of it regardless. And back to Ethan's question, which was my question, you're talking about 400 plus new students, and you're saying the traffic plan in a nutshell. Can we get more the in a nutshell, because that doesn't sound like an effective plan?
So I don't have the traffic plan, and if I did have it, it would probably take a good half hour to go over it. It's a very in-depth plan. I don't have all the details. Regarding due diligence, the apartment buildings in particular, almost all of the residents of the apartment buildings are non-parents or staff in our school. So it was definitely done blanket to every apartment building in the vicinity, and hardly any of the tenants in those buildings are parents or staff in the school, but there were some that did come from the apartment buildings to testify. So I taken aback for the appearance as if we were targeting only those that are biased to the school. If that was the case, we would not have reached out to any of the apartment buildings. That would not have opened us up to any neutral or objective opposition. We let it open. We reached out to every apartment building, every resident, and we're very proud of that.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, and that closes the list. At this time, we are going to call the question. We're going to call the question at this time. So the recommendation from the committee was to approve the recommendation, to approve the application for 1505 Carroll Street, Brooklyn, New York, 11213. At this time, I'm going to ask the secretary to call the roll. If you are in favor of the motion, as the recommendation is stated, please say yes. If you are in opposition, please say no. If you wish to abstain, you can abstain at this time. We're going to call the roll. Okay, yes, no, or abstain. And then after that, we're going to just call, it'll be voice vote, and we will just record names for any other votes. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Abdul Mahabir.
Yes.
Fred Baptiste.
Yes.
Kat Buccello.
No.
Joanna Carr. Joanna Carr.
Abstain.
Suki Chow.
Yes.
Kendall Christensen.
Yes.
Eve Cohen.
Yes.
Sol Carey. Sol. Max Davison.
Yes.
Lisa Etienne.
Yes.
Vadim Gaboy. Shauna Hartley.
Yes.
Volney Joseph.
Yes.
Renisha Labari. Maine Legote.
Yes.
Francisco. Andrew Magnus.
Yes.
Letri Movina. Vanna Mears. Rahamino. Mushin Lati Mushin.
Yes.
Ethan Norman.
Yes.
Isaiah Pickle.
Yes.
Vanessa
Raptopoulos. Yes.
Felice Robertson.
Yes.
Binny Rosenberger.
Yes.
Makari Tandia. Joshua Thomas Serrano.
Yes.
Abigail Tim.
Yes.
Debbie Timothy.
Yes.
Linda Watson Lauren. Yes. Dawn Walters.
No.
Teresa Westerdahl.
Yes.
Joyce Williams.
Yes.
Lorraine Wellesley, absent, and Steve Zalka, absent.
Okay. Are there any members of the board who did not hear their name called for the roll? Okay, any members of the board who did not hear their name called for the roll? All right, just bear with us one moment and we're going to get that.
The final vote in favor, 25 members, against 2 members, abstention, 4 members, vote carries.
All right. Hearing 25 in favor, 2 opposed, 4 members abstaining, the vote carries. The recommendation is adopted and reported to the DSA. Thank you very much. All right, we are now going to move on to item B, which is the school safety school safety plan for Brooklyn Kingston Avenues. So we heard the report from the transportation chair earlier. At this time, it is on the floor. We are going to take questions with regards to the motion. We're going to open the speakers list. Does anybody have any questions? Mr. Rosenberg, I see you. Hold on. Mr. Christensen, I see you as well. Second Vice Chair, we see you as well. Member at Large, we see you as well. See you as well, sir. Max, we see you as well, David. Anyone else? Westerdahl, I see you as well. Okay. Any other members that I hear? So I have Benny, I have Mr. Christensen, I have Felice, I have Kat, I have Kabir, I have Max, I have Teresa Westerdahl. Anyone else? Let me say any names. Okay. Okay, the list is now closed. All right, this time, Mr. Rosenberg.
Hi, kudos on a very good report. It's clear and much can understand what we're voting on. But I had one question regarding the accident map. So, I mean, I know you see the dates are from 2019-23, and then we have 2024 map. I was looking online at the projects.trans.org crash map, and I don't see nearly as many accidents online. And the online report goes from January 22 to September 2025. But I only see 5 accidents in that area on Brooklyn and Kingston, between Empire Boulevard and Winthrop. And one of them is a motorist accident, only 2 pedestrians, and that's in the middle of Rutland. And there are only 2 bicycle accidents on the corner. So I was wondering if you can explain the disparity between the maps that we have in the report and what I'm seeing online. I'm glad that you removed the protected bike lanes, but in regards to daylighting and raised sidewalks, so I'm all for them if they're absolutely necessary, but if the data doesn't show that you really look at those, they're going to create nuisances with reduced parking and other issues. So somebody mentioned that the ones closer to Rutland might cause issues with flooding, the raised sidewalks, and also the daylighting. So unless it's absolutely necessary and we have data to back up the need, I would question why we need to place them there. Thanks for your question. So the maps that are here list the sources
They also come straight from DOT also. And in some cases, DOT may have more information that is available on websites and website access. There are different maps, and all those maps have different numbers. You'll see different numbers from Crash Mapper versus the official Vision Zero website view for New York City. And DOT has different maps as well. They're all based on different data. DOT lists that they use their NYPD form submissions based on accidents from this map. But I don't exactly know what map you're referring to, whether it's the Vision Zero or a different one. So I can't actually comment on how that map stacks up to this one. But what I will say though is that the corners that have the most accidents on these maps are essentially where we suggest placing the raised crosswalks to be the most effective areas. In the process, part of this resolution does have DOT come back and essentially strategize with us on where they should go. So they're not getting a blank check to just drop them anywhere. They can talk to us about where to put them, and we're going to work together on that placement. So they're not just put in places like that. And DOT will also do their due diligence with other agencies so that they're put in places where they can disrupt flooding or other bodies like law enforcement or FDNY or hospitals and that type of thing.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Christensen.
Thank you. I also had a question about the raised crosswalks. I know they're becoming a thing in street design these days, but does the city really have much experience with those yet, or would this be sort of a trial installation of them? And then also, you've already addressed the issue of do they have any effect on flooding? That's a question that was raised by one member of our committee.
Yeah. So two things. On your first question, what's that about the flooding? Yeah. All the time, regarding flooding, some of these can actually help water flow. So, of course, we look to DOT to do their work on that and make sure that these areas are being worked on. I'm saying we're looking at DOT to do their homework on that to make sure that those crosswalks are in the right places, and also that the design around them accommodates for water flow, because they can actually help with flood mitigation in some cases.
The first question was about the city's experience with raised crosswalks elsewhere.
Yeah, so there are raised crosswalks currently in use in West Side. There's one at the corner of Utica and Chauncey Street. There are a few more. There's another one, I believe, in Williamsburg. There are a few in Williamsburg right now as well. As a matter of fact, some of the community members who came in one of our feedback sessions noted that they work quite well in Williamsburg with regards to safety. So they're working in other areas. The corners that have these also have a pretty low incidence of accidents compared to the corners in the area around that. And also in a survey that was done a few years ago by one of our board members had asked residents what type of street design device they would like most in this area along Kingston, River Avenue. And the device they voted for most favorably was actually raised crosswalks. So a lot of people were really against potential bike lanes being a sort of a trial and having their children be experimented on with those bike lanes. And instead, we wanted to make sure that what is being used, if anything, is a trial. It's a trial of a device that actually improves safety, has been proven to improve safety, and does not have any other sort of failed uses in other parts of the city.
Member, Second Vice Chair.
So my question, Ethan, every time we go to our transportation committee meeting, why are we removing parking spaces? So the daylighting is my concern, because I would like to know what data do they have, or what's the reasoning to remove 4 or perhaps 6 parking spaces. I don't know if it's on each corner, each other corner, but once you start this, it reverberates to other blocks. And I don't understand why it has to